Hello everybody. Today I will be doing a print with these pre-cut stencils made of copy paper, and as you can see I cut them in these various geometric shapes and applied them to the Gelli plate. Now the Gelli plate seems to have some kind of oil in its makeup because the paper seems to have absorbed some kind of oil when I applied the paper to the plate, and maybe that's what makes the plate sticky. So I'm going to start with a coat of Naples yellow. We're adding some raw sienna. Have to be very careful I don't rip the copy paper off the plate. Yeah, I'm not, in this case, I'm not going to be too careful about making it even. I do want a little bit of unevenness in this print. In fact, I'm going to use the edges of the brayer to make some marks. Kind of to add some interest. Brayer is actually very it has a lot of uses that are not pretty obvious. You can use it to make lines. You can use it to create textures, like so. Dots, little dashes. All these little marks make the surface more interesting to look at. Okay. Let me get my paper. making sure it's on the registration mark. Applying an even pressure on the paper. I can see some of the copy paper had stuck to the print. Okay, I was not expecting this. This is what my mentor Bob Ross would call a happy accident. I'm going to try to peel off as much of it as I can. Now, had I waited a few more minutes, this paper would not come off because acrylic paint acts like a glue. It's actually quite an effective glue. But if I act quickly enough, I can get most of this paper off. And you know, in the process of making art, you have to be prepared for these unexpected events and be calm about it. And these are actually valuable learning moments when you realize, oh, I shouldn't have done this or I shouldn't have done that. And that's the thing about the learning process in making art. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. Sometimes you look back and realize, oh, they really were not mistakes in the first place. They were just not the way I expected things to turn out. Okay, I'm not going to play with this anymore, but I guess these are not reusable. So this is the resulting image. This is the first pull. So I have already on my first pull a complex and textured image with Naples yellow and some raw sienna. I'm going to set this aside to dry, and try to get the rest of this off. Like I said, you learn by doing, and making mistakes is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, now I will do a little experiment with this black marker. I've seen in other videos that this is alcohol based, and anything alcohol based on a jelly plate will transfer when you apply it and press the paper on it. So I'll give it a try. It's a nice thick line. Okay, and since it's a chisel point, I can also do skinny lines like this. So on top of this, I am going to, let's see, maybe a little bit of orange. And some green gold. And maybe some light blue. Why not? Just a drop here and there. Okay. Sometimes the result looks great. Sometimes it's a mess, but it's one way to find out. Okay. I also notice other artists on YouTube, they work really fast. So fast that I can't even follow. A lot of the videos are put on high speed. Maybe they expect that their viewers are impatient, but I believe that when you learn how to make art, it has to be in real time. Then you understand the time element that goes into making art. You can't rush it. Because if you're impatient, then you're not really cut out to be an artist. There's a lot of qualities of being an artist is having patience. Okay, now that's evened out, and so this is the first pull, and let's see what happens when I place this on top of this. This is what I call my low budget printing press. Just pressing evenly and firmly. And in this case, I'm hoping that the added pressure will make the marker, the black marker, transfer. Okay, it's a big surprise. Yep, it did transfer. Take my pointer here. There you go. It's actually quite a clear transfer. Just have to be very careful I don't rip the paper. This is what I meant by doing things in real time. This little piece of copy paper there. I can fix that later, but I'm pleased with this result. It's better than I expected. It's really putting up a fight. It's very sticky. There we go. There is the magic marker is pretty clear. I like the parts that have a little texture on them. There we go. So this is the second pull, and again I will let this dry for a few minutes, and I will come back and decide what other elements I can add. So I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back after a few minutes. I've given enough time for the background to dry, and I have cut a few collage elements here to assemble on my monoprint. So I'm going to start with the tissue papers, since they are the most delicate. And I've learned that the less brush strokes, the better, because when you overdo it, the paper gets weak and it rips, and we don't want that. The nice thing about this Mod Podge is you don't need to worry if you put too much over the outline, because it dries matte finish, and it's practically invisible. Now, in some other videos, I had used a high gloss Mod Podge that has a totally different effect. I will demonstrate that in a different video. Here's the side piece. And I'm trying to work fairly quickly before the glue dries. And that's why it's important to kind of pre-arrange your collage pieces when you are working with glue, because you do not have too much open time. And if you wait too long, your glue is going to dry on you, and you're going to have a very difficult time. And sometimes the pieces don't get mounted the way they were arranged. They'll be slightly different, but that's okay. So I'll do a rough area here, and roughly where the piece is going to land. And I will apply the glue to the back. And there you go. There we go. So I have placed all my collage elements in place, and here's the final result. So I have a combination of the collage with the black marker transfer, and the background, which is done on the Gelli plate. I hope you liked this little video. And as always, thank you for watching.